We know this is going to be tough. SK Gaming at their peak, though, I do think can keep up with the previous world champions.
So low again, already has to use one charge of that gadget. And all of SK Gaming are forced away. So far, this Kenji pick has been utterly countered by Novi. We're now hoping for the arc of that slash to maybe catch onto the Daryl, reveal him at the very least here, but this is oppressive now for Zeta Division. Kenny, they've taken full map control. Lenar is on the outside looking in.
So much pressure being applied by Zeta Division. They're in their spawn and there's no way out. It's gonna be a giant robot gatekeeping them here. They have no shield to aid Lana. Joker just trying to keep up with the distance of Meg. Angelo from long distance able to put the pressure, and now they're expanding, moving towards this mid. And they will have an opportunity here to try and strike back.
Quietly, Yoshi's been the difference maker for SK. That poke damage on Meow forces Zeta Division back into their own half of the map. And now SK Gaming have a chance to make something of it. Meow barely gets away alive there. Still needs to respect Lenar as he encroaches on the left. Novi's being kept low as well. SK Gaming has good poke damage. Here's Gero throwing the super down. Joker forced to play in the gas for the time being. He's going low. Lenar up front and center goes for the super, but it's dodged by everybody in Zeta Division. Look, a cut above.
They've simply been better this set. SK Gaming not finding those early frags. They have to find a way to respond here. Once again, the long-range lane on the right-hand end. Middle of the map, team captain Joker looking to apply a little bit of pressure. They need to start off here early. They've been in their back spawn a lot of the time. Here goes Lenon, off to the races. One tap away from bringing Meow down. That would have been so good for them.
This composition, so solid for Zeta Division. It's not flashy at all, but it is very good at doing what it needs to, which is to stay alive. SK Gaming have scored 0 kills over the course of this set thus far. And that might be a trend that continues. One hit of the super, catching onto Novi. Lenar wants more. Meow, though, as low as he is, still represents a significant threat of damage. But there it is. Cuckoo Pop are going to be used to knock the Meg out of the mech. And now Novi trying to pressure. Joker down. He's missing. Lenar with a super available. And finally, SK Gaming get on the board. They're awake.
1-1 apiece in game 2. That's the aggression we have to see from SK. They have to find that comfortable strategy that's worked for them all year long. It doesn't matter who you're facing off against. Do something you're good at, and better yet, play one of the best, if not the best brawlers in the game while you're doing it.
So now we know their comp works, Kenny, but it means they need a fair amount of poke damage early in the round. Yoshi was huge, especially getting that shield over to Lenar when it was needed. 3 supers up here for SK Gaming. Can they put it together? We've got a ego on the field for Joker. That Lola hitting hard right now.
Gero just lurking in this grass too. Yashi trying to do a scouting report, but he just can't seem to find him quite yet. Navi on the left-hand in, looking for a burst of aggression. The machine gun fire coming out of that mech. Lenon knows he has to get to this early. Shield on Yashi. He's trying to dive in, but the aggressive brawler goes down early. A roll in from Daryl. Yashi slowed down, rendered useless, brought to his knees, and a lone Joker is gonna have to find a way to clutch this up.
1 versus 3. As good as Joker is, that might just be a little too much to expect. Good damage output Lola has. But I'm going to give it to you straight, folks. This is virtually impossible. Joker knows it. As happy to leave Kenji open. They may have baited it from SK. Feeling like they had contingency. Feeling like they had a composition that could handle it. And they have demonstrated that. I mean, Meg, so high damage. Daryl, so punishing, especially with that tar barrel. Something we really just glossed over. Makes it difficult for Lenar to actually get to his intended target. Yoshi does not have the damage to deal with these 2 tanks when they go for him. And we see Zeta Division exploiting the window where there's no ego available for Joker. We just got picked off prior by Gero in that last clip.
The lowest frag for Zeta Division had as many kills as the entire roster of SK Gaming that set. That's a statement. This team dominated them in the opener. And to your point too, while on ladder for our average player like myself, Lana playing this Kenji is so good, but when you have professionals drafting, they can make adjustments. I don't think Daryl's too bad of a consolation prize. If anything, to get a shotgun brawler to go into the tank.
You're in a race and the gas comes in, you get knocked out of the mech, you get a little bit longer than your opponents to survive. Of course, as you virtually have a 4th brawler in a reserve. We're going to gloss over that if you're an SK fan. You're going to pretend that set never happened. But Zeta Division will be happy to have one in the back pocket heading into Hot Zone.
We're going to take a right-hand turn in terms of game modes. It's going to be Hot Zone. This is Control. The name of the game is holding that center point and playing at the objective here. Kills are nice, kills aren't everything. And I think in terms of brawler pool as well, what we can expect to be selected here gonna be very different. You can see that immediately in the ban stage. No Nita, no Stu, you'd never see that out in the open. Amber being deleted from the options I think is a good thing, but on the left-hand side, since they don't have that first overall pick, you're gonna see them tend to pick some of the better brawlers in the game. Mo, Surge, Clancy, all very high play rates this weekend.
Other brawlers we've seen on this map, of course, Sprout, been brought in, can block off that scent. Hard to look past your number one brawler here, Kenny. Gale brought in for Zeta.
He is my favorite, and I regret to inform Brawl Nation that his win rate yesterday was atrocious. 14.3%, and he was tied for fourth most played. That's not a good sign, but as an early pick, it is preventative. You probably know that SK Gaming are looking for something aggressive, something tanky, and the ultimate shutdown to that is the old man on the right-hand side.
We've seen Gale played in side lanes here. Tends to get outranged a lot of the time, but is able to move up. Twister also very powerful to lock someone on their own half of the map, and SK are adamant that this Kenji pick is where they want to be, but this time they really telegraph it at the start of the draft, giving Zeta Division plenty of room to play around it, and Hot Zone and Lu go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Makes sense, but it's a really early pick. On the other end, they haven't even
Shadow Realm that Cordelius sends people to, and pop up, use it to reposition behind opponents. Also has a super that represents a gap close and damage nuke. She is someone you do not want to get at your Lu.
That gadget is just absolutely insane. If any brawler in the game has that gadget, they're immediately meta viable. That's just part of it. And once she's in your face, she's going to be really aggressive. Obviously, Lily's had a lot of tweaks here and there, but at a professional level, you'll see her come out every once in a while. So now they've got their aggressive option. This is going to be how they sneak in. I love this Larry Laurie pick.
This draft is nuts.
He was a top 5 ban brawler yesterday, and I feel like he's a sneaky one. People forget about him, but because of that indestructible wall, Lu's not going to be able to. Most able because of Laurie on his side to help out against people like that, because he's got 2 options to shoot at one guy.
You might want to try and outrange the Larry and Laurie with a thrower of your own here, though. That, for SK Gaming, could be an option. Cordelia's picked up instead, so we have such an interesting interaction here between both of these, I guess, what do we call them? Enchanted Forest Brawlers. They both make use of the Shadow Room as a separate area in the game. Cordelius might be intended here to specifically shut the Lily down.
This is such an interesting dynamic because, like you said, we don't too often at a casual or even professional level get to see multiple brawlers go to the underworld. This is a little bit crazy. Larry Laurie makes this interesting. A lot of differences in terms of draft opinion, but SK Gaming, it's time to wake up, folks. Zeta Division looking to continue their world streak.
That's been time to wake up, Kenny. But hey, getting started now wouldn't be the worst. Gero's already got himself into the back line there with Yoshi. Absolutely flew, but Novi was able to spend a decent amount of time on the point itself. Gero wants Yoshi, and again, the Lu is down. Lenar can't even fight against this Lily.
The Joker ready with a super, a perfect connection as well, but he can't get anything on that Hot Zone while underneath, so I think Gero can be happy to take this trade. Yoshi now right-hand side, and once again, Lenar's going hunting. Navi very close to him. Larry grouped up with him. He's going for the double tag, has a super available, not going to use it yet. Joker still at the ready, and now has a hypercharge, a dive in, slice and dice for Kenji, and Joker's going to tie this up.
Here's the problem for the thrower on this map. You actually can't contest the point as Meow. You need a teammate to be there, and you can support them with your longer range damage. Joker eventually falls, but Yoshi dancing amongst the snowflakes here, having thrown a super down, getting SK Gaming into the lead. Here comes Lenar, a little bit low, but plenty of targets to choose from now. It's another Laurie that has to be dealt with. Meow is a little bit low. Joker with a jump.
8% roughly a piece as Yoshi is back in the fray. Lenar on the prowl, left-hand side. Gero even gonna be dueling. Here comes a double tag. Meow gets connected with once. Some snow cones tagging him up as well, but it's still Zeta by a narrow margin.
Oh, we see Lenar trying to go to the top side, catches out Meow. Now SK Gaming are catching up. They're in the lead. Joker able to get a super on the Gero, basically rendering the Lily useless for the time being. 94% and counting. Joker and Yoshi stacked up. Here comes Zeta Division, but it's too little.
Neck and neck here. SK Nation getting loud. This stadium erupting after SK finally claim a game. Zeta Division right there with them. This is more of what I expected to see.
Such an interesting interaction between the Lily and the Cordelius. Doesn't connect though. Gero forces Joker to jump away, but Yoshi's been on the point. Gadget used there to get some extra percentage, and SK Gaming are in good shape. Lenar's a problem. He's in the back line. The cat amongst the pigeons. Novi going to go down as well. Meow finally silences the Kenji.
They needed that one desperately. SK Gaming's entire roster falls. They've got Ice Cream covering the map, though. Yashi grabs a kill. Lana already back in action. Meow forced to flank aggressively. Ideally, he'd be in position to try and deal with the other side. Joker with a jump in. It's a trade.
Meow's down.
Lana can't trade this either. Lily was underneath, and now Zeta Division respond.
Great Gale Force there from Novi. Very timely. Stunning out both of those SK Gaming brawlers. Joker has his hyper up. Gero can't really go anywhere from that corner, so Lenar takes an easy elimination. Here comes Joker. Jump over. Gets Novi into the Shadow Realm, and it's all SK Gaming all the way. Now with a healthy lead. 20% way ahead.
Gero, the last man standing, holding on to a super and a glimmer of HP. Yashi holding down the fort in the mid. Joker, impeccable defense
90.
here, and they're climbing almost to 100.
95.
Indestructible, it's down to Joker here. A few
One
more
more.
percentage points will do the trick. A dice in from Lana, and SK Gaming tie things up.
And a bit of energy there from the young prodigy. Joker gets the crowd hype. The draft for SK Gaming, they knew exactly what they wanted here on Dueling Beetles. Picked up the Kenji instantly. Took the Lu for that map control, and the Cordelius to answer the assassin threat of Lily. Played out to perfection.
Joker knows he's got a home field advantage here too. You can see him hyping up that crowd. Get them loud when you've got home court advantage. I know this is EMEA all around, but SK fans, Totem fans, there's a few of these pitch points.
And it's the kind of game where Lenar looks like the flashy one, right? The engine room is Joker. This Cordelius, so effective, and not only countering Gero out, but also being a very solid assassin in his own right. This was even overkill at this point. Yoshi using a hypercharged super in Zeta Division spawn. The fact that SK Gaming had the wherewithal to be able to make a play like that means they were feeling confident and comfortable.
This was an unorthodox draft as well, and to your point, 427 DPS from Joker, team captain, with a 10-piece. That's a really weird draft, too. I feel like the fact that he handled that so well, it felt like those gadget timings were on point. He was taking down Gale, which is huge, because if he takes down Gale, he frees up who? Lana, the guy they want in the faces of these enemies. If Lana can focus on the squishy Larry and Lori, which is what we saw in those two games, they're playing that strategy to perfection.
That's a nightmare game for Meow. He has nothing to do, really. He knows that there's peace in this series now as SK Gaming have truly come alive. With a crowd like that behind them, who knows where this stops?
Early game jitters are out of the way. And now we're on to Pinball Dreams, a little brawl ball action here, a fan favorite from the folks at home. And I think a team like SK Gaming that love these tanky brawlers are so flashy for this game mode.
These bans are pretty similar to what we've seen in the past. Zeta Division, if they don't pick Larry and Laurie, they really want to get rid of it. Also, the Nita band away. They get first pick this draft, though, when they take the Kenji. SK Gaming, known Kenji abusers, they'd have to have a way to play around it here.
Kenji, the most banned brawler yesterday for a reason. We've already seen him twice today. Every time he has escaped the ban stage, he has been picked pretty early on. Makes a lot of sense, too. I mean, he's healing, he does damage. It plays a lot into what you want to see as a brawler. In Rico, I think a really good response. Rico is a fantastic brawler in this meta.
Against the Kenji on Dueling Beetles just now, but it's a different map and it's also a different context. Gale being able to stun multiple people with super when they're on the back foot, when they're playing defensively inside their own goals, can basically guarantee a goal for your team. It's probably a Yoshi pick here, so once more SK are hiding the Lenar brawler.
Ooh, and a little bit of Stu coming in, the stuntman on the stage. I like this. I think it's a really dynamic pick. Gives you a lot of versatility. You can be aggressive, charge those supers. More supers means more super shots. I feel like this is a pretty good brawler that doesn't have a lot of meta counters right now. I think both of these teams could probably look at a thrower, especially when I'm looking at them SK Gaming side. They've got Rico, they've got Gale. They could go with an aggressive option as their final pick, but having something like a thrower can get a lot of pinning down of the enemies here. And instead, they're just going to go for the biggest bad in Brawl Stars. El Primo going to be delivering a punt.
To do on Pinball Dreams is he's going to be trying to push back Meow, Gero, and Noe respectively. This is a very aggressive, a very all-in composition for Zeta Division. And at this point, SK can't be thinking about how to counter the Stu because there are three brawlers that warrant counters in and of themselves, and Colette is going to round out this composition for SK.
I was going to say, you have to deal with the plethora of health points on this other side. And I was trying to rack my brain of what brawlers do you select. Colette, The tank counter of tank counters is perfect here. I think it actually makes a lot of sense. They could even go with something like push it for a defensive mechanism. I actually don't mind this at all. I think this is going to be a pretty solid pick.
I like push it a lot. It's going to combine, of course, with Lenar's Super Gale Force in being able to stave off these aggressive brawlers. So it's Zeta Division with the aggressive comp. SK Gaming want to be on defense here. Let's see how it plays out in our third set.
This is a big set as well. Side, but narrowly. Yashi already has a supercharged up Joker, a menace on this brawler as well. SK positioning themselves here very early.
There's the Gale Force from Yoshi, and Novi has nothing to do. Gero here as well takes a ton of poke damage, and in comes Meow with the elbow of justice. How are they going to get rid of this El Primo? Pure damage, says Joker, and I've got plenty of it.
Joker meets him in the middle with a lot of shots to the face. SK Gaming, great defense. They have not been able to escape this spawn, and now Navi's back on the prowl. Gero, right hand in, looking
Another
at Lenan. The stun goes through. Yashi can't quite secure the kill, though. That pesky Kenji in his heels gets away.
And there it is, Meow. I can't quite connect, though. Lenar having to use a gotcha gadget earlier on. It's a tough fight to beat Gero here. Navi wants to push out Joker, though, with the hypercharge. Bullets flying everywhere, but Lenar goes down. Gero's going to be a problem for this Rico, and Joker doesn't even bother trying to deal with the stew. Yoshi needs a big super here, maybe hyper it, and it does come through. 2 waves of Gale Force pushes Meow back. Another one. Yoshi is cycling those supers like a boss.
SK with a breakaway down the left hand in. Gero trying to defend. Meow back. Kenji in the fray as well. There's a dive in. Lenan doesn't get the kill though. Navi and teammates will be able to push through. Gero back in ball control.
And now we know the Colette does have push it as a star power, so it's just displacement, not the shielding from mass attacks that you more often look to take. Meow here with that hypercharge up. Lenar wants to be the one pressuring the Primo down, and so he does. Hypercharge super comes in for the Colette. Lenar definitely walks outside of that Slashini X radius, but Gero at least is able to trade. Ball is cornered. Classic SK play, but they still need a goal before they can fall back. Another super from Yoshi, making space for Joker.
Yashi hasn't been a flashy pick, but he sure as heck has been defensive. Meow hasn't been able to break away yet. Here comes Joker with some tags. Meow with the dive in, taking flight, makes a connection. Take down alongside it. Now SK on the back line. 15 to go.
Has to super back towards his goals, but here is overtime. Lenar tried to make a shot, but Novi is too low. Meow will hold possession and corner the ball.
Little preemptive fire there from Lenar. Tried to time it just right, but 2 bodies were standing in his path alongside the goal. Now it's been cornered towards this top left side. A skate away, a dodge. Lenar goes down. Yoshi making a push here. A tag onto Meow, stuns him out of the ball, but a breakaway opportunity for Zeta Division. The red roster with a chance here.
Lenar back off spawn though. Joker under pressure. Lets the super go. Can't dodge the Kenji super. Goal! Novi ends it in overtime. What a first round!
That was only game number 1, Uber. Everybody take a deep breath. We are in for a roller coaster ride here. 2 EMEA Titans trying to show why they deserve to take this big...
The biggest problem in the previous round, Zeta just kept coming back off spawn, relentless, and eventually overwhelmed them.
Joker gonna slow down a little bit. Looks for these tags, goes in the mid. Lenar popping a gadget, a perfect dodge out of Navi there. Now Lenar looking at him again. The slice and the dice. It's 1 goes down. 386 HP, and Lenar's running for the hills. He has to corner this ball.
That's a terrible matchup for Lenar. He does not want to be spending this round fighting Navi. That's where Yoshi needs to be. Lenar though able to win it out at least with the gotcha gadget. No, it's Navi into super instead. Here's the elbow from Meow. Yoshi suplexed out of the way, and it's virtually an open goal as Gero can slot it in.
Perfect start here for Zeta Division. A much earlier goal in game number 2, but SK Gaming not wavering here. A lot of belief in this stadium for their fellas here in blue. Zeta surrounding this ball, but an early pickup here from SK Gaming. Now's the time to push.
Yoshi, now he suplexes Yoshi out of possession of the ball. We'll see a twister thrown up in front of goal, but SK cannot get possession again. Lenar low, Meow will duck back to pick it up, and Joku is in trouble.
Joker in trouble and missed a huge super there. He survives, but they only get away with 1 kill. Yashi thrown over the shoulders of Meow. They had an opportunity. They have to capitalize here. This is another takedown. Zeta once again on their back heels, and Lenar is cooking with a hypercharge.
Gero's in no hurry right now. Zeta Division have that 1 goal lead. Here's the super from Kenji. Yoshi waits it out, and SK have a chance to attack now. Once again, it's the El Primo, though, that stands in their way.
Gero left in the net. Navi Off the respawn, Meow taking his time. Lots of hypercharges available. A lot of util that they can click at a moment's notice. And the big playmaker on the other end now has to play
Classy.
defense. Lanam with the first one. Bounce shots connecting to Meow. Garo skating over for assistance here. Joker deliberating what to do. Meow, fist
Dangerous.
climb.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Zeta Division on the precipice of winning the set now. Have to do it in extra innings. Here comes Gero, supering forward. Yoshi with a hypercharge just for the base stats, apparently. Novi in his fate, goes for a super. Lenar taking down, and Gero from out in front will seal the deal. Zeta Division, take Brawl Ball.
Advantage Zeta Division here. A heated rivalry between two of EMEA's finest. And the defending world champions are showing how fierce they truly are. This has been back and forth the whole way. That's exactly what we saw in this Brawl Ball set. I can't help but think back though. SK Gaming certainly had some opportunities, some missed shots, some missed supers. Zeta Division's mechanics just looked a little bit better.
This to me though is reminiscent of what we saw on that knockout set, Kenny. Zeta Division favored these picked here, but it felt like a very reactionary move from SK to bring the Colette to answer some of these big health pulls. And in fairness, it looked good. Lenar looked really, really good here. But once he burnt through those gadgets, it got a little bit too much. And look at the damage differential. This is the difference that is made by bringing in these hefty tanks. And I've got to say, Novi, on that Kenji, doing well to secure positive matchups after spending so long getting Gale forced into boxes over and over again.
That's part of Brawl Stars. Sometimes health points are enough, even though there was so much damage being applied by this SK Gaming roster. The defense, great. They couldn't hold on long enough. There's only so many opportunities after so many spawns. One kill, and there's 15,000 health points of El Primo just sprinting at you. You can only hold off for so long.
It's just too much to deal with, and the El Primo doesn't really have to do anything overly special. Can strip the ball, though, from plays. We saw Yoshi was threatening a goal. He got suplexed back in not only a very solid comp, but great contingencies as well.
Now we're moving on to last stop. Completely different game mode and an opportunity. SK Gaming have 3 players on this roster that have come so close. But to be honest with you, we give them a lot of credit at this international stage. Yoshi made a Final Four last year, but other than that, these guys have been good in the regular season, haven't exploded in the postseason. This is a legacy match for these fellas. An opportunity to take this big organization, this huge fan base to the promised land here of day 3. That's something this team has lacked.
And boy, those fans have been waiting. SK Gaming Nation have been frothy at the mouth to finally see a team go all the way. And this is an ambitious project. Younger guns on this SK Gaming roster. Lenar and Joker coming in to try and give them that moonshot. Here's a Surge picked up, who, to my knowledge, performed really well yesterday.
Yeah, 71.4% win rate, tied for the 4th most plays. I'll take that all day long, Uber. Last stop here, too. I think a big part of him as well, the unpredictability of that hypercharge, when it's guaranteed to land some shots to explode, so much damage can be applied. And this is also just a great answer into any aggression. If you want to get aggressive, Surge is going to shadow that brawler. Get those free tags so they can get to that tier 2, tier 3, and heck, that tier 4 stage is unbelievable.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying to face Surge down at that stage of the game. Gem grab here, so a safe mid in Gus being picked up by Meow. Also someone who can empower those more aggressive sidelanders to move up, bully their opponents out, and take that map control. Clancy's available. We've seen that sort of looked at on some of these gen grab maps, more hard rock mine and maybe some of the more close-quartered ones. Last stop is a little bit more open in some areas, but Amber also been targeted by Banton here. Here's that aforementioned Clancy, Zeta Division, snap it up. So both teams with a brawler that loves the long game.
And both these brawlers, top 5 selections.
It's really, like 30% win rate, right?
Yeah, it's 1/3 of the time yesterday that he won. And obviously, the game mode's different, the map pool different. But I think the sentiment still remains the same. The damage is something that's going to be an issue. He powers up allies, but if your teammates aren't exploding, if they're not taking advantage of their shield, heck, if you miss a shield, it's so costly. And I love this response from SK Gaming. They're going to go with a mid of their own that's going to outrange, out-DPS the Gus. So in terms of lane diff, we would hope that that Piper would be better than the Gus in a one-on-one.
And in theory, that means SK Gaming have priority, maybe an early gem lead. The ability to let their side laners go ham. Tara getting picked up here. I mean, she can obviously now with that hypercharge blow terrain apart with that use of gravity. Also, like help from beyond can be very effective against those single shot brawlers, but again, a little bit of an eyebrow raiser, this pick.
Definitely. It's been a while. It's funny, too, because last year the meta didn't really revolve around Tara at this exactly, which is easier to hit, disrupts the gym count. If you just need one big play, Tara might be the brawler to count on. However, this counter pick on the other side, it is a tank, but you can get rid of any effect of that pull from Tara's super. This might be the answer that Zeta Division need.
I love the quick response from the Buster here for Zeta. Trying to book their tickets to the semifinals with a win over regional rivals SK Gaming. By the way, it's not that it's acrimonious. These guys are friends. I got smashed by Joker and Novi at table football the other day, so they hang out. But still, this game means so much to both of them, and SK Gaming now need to force a set 5.
Interregional pride on the line. A day 3 ticket to the World Finals on the line, and Joker starting out early with a couple taps. Yashi there to secure one as well. It's going to take him a sec, but he has to find a way to get up in Buster's face. Make a few tags here. There's the second. He needs one more, and it'll be
and that will allow SK Gaming to get a healthy little lead here. Notice that Joker uses Poppin to blow up the bushes and make it dangerous for that Buster to emerge.
Manon now getting pulled in. It's going to be a dangerous one here. Survives the lane. Left-hand side goes Zeta Division's way, though. Joker looking for a gadget. Doesn't quite connect. Always a disappointing feeling when the auto-aim doesn't quite hit.
Still though, Joker and Lenar splitting the map. It's going to have to be the Buster coming in from above with that montage super. Now has just hit level 2. Novi can take map control behind that super now, and he does. Joker at 9 gems though. There's a gravity thrown down. Healing Shade doesn't quite make it to Lenar when Novi's able to bring him down. Joker's in trouble. He's got to get out with the pop-in. 1 gem away are SK Gaming.
And now they've gotten all their bushes revealed. Joker has to be super careful. Meow still hasn't made it to a tier 3, but if he does, this gets dangerous. Navi with a super, and now Lenar falls once again. Yashi under pressure. Joker can't make a move, and SK Gaming are just left away.
Pops the hype now is in danger.
Meow got away with one there. He was able to hide, and this gym count increasing by the second. They haven't found a way to deal with the right or the left lane. Yashi diving in. He has to make a move. There's one. Hypercharge madness going down. Meow low HP. He narrowly dodges, though. The counter! A sharpshooter shot connects, but Garrow's one away.
Here comes Lenar. Big super. It's massive! And it strips all the gems from Zeta Division. Meow can only look on now as Lenar gets away with the heist of the century.
There's the big play that they needed. Tara makes it count when it matters most. SK Gaming coming alive here in game number 1 of set 4. And now they're one away from taking us to set 5.
The last one's spilled. What a comeback for SK.
One big play is all you need in this game mode. They were outclassed in the second half of game number 1, but if they get a good one here, that's all it takes. That's the X factor Tara brings. And now Joker back in position and already with an early gym count here.
Now getting aggressive despite only being rank 1 there, Kenny. Yoshi goes in, now be able to use that instant replay to draw him in. That's going to be a gravity from Lenar. A lot of loose gems here. Joker back in position with a kooky popper is going to force him off that line.
Yashi a wide open right-hand side lane. Garrow backed up, pressure being applied from Lenar. Nalby trying to move forward, and there's the perfect pull that they needed. Joker forced away and barely survives.
Still though, 3 gems to SK Gaming's name. They are in this. Still level 1 though is Yoshi. Yet to really get rolling. Holding onto that super now to try and use it to close the gap, but that's a torrent from Meow that vaporizes him.
Yoshi moving in now, and gems being collected for SK. They are a narrow lead.
But now Novi is carrying the gems. Can he be nearly as aggressive while he is the player that has the win condition in hand? Yoshi wants to come forward at level 3. He's looking scary, but Novi has super available.
Hypercharge for Joker. Long-range shots. He's playing it carefully, looking for that extra speed. Meow down low, has to dive away, and Garrow looking to match. Navi slowly bringing the Zeta Division push up, and this is going to be all evened out if they're not careful.
Yoshi with the hypercharge goes aggressive. He needs to get to Navi, though. The shots bouncing around the corner put some serious pressure on the Buster. But Garrow snaps another gem up. It's 9-7. One more for SK, and Navi knows it. He's got to come forward, but Yoshi hits harder. And now we have a countdown. Beautiful gravity from Lenar. And Garrow is on the outside looking in.
And SK Gaming have 10 gems, your very best. Set 5 to open day number 2.
haymaker after haymaker being thrown from these superstar EMEA teams. Let's have a look back over this gem grab set, which really felt like it was decided by some huge Tara supers, and Yoshi finally getting involved in that last round to close it out.
I got real nervous for SK Gaming, I'll be honest with you. They were looking so good off the start of that game one, and slowly but surely, Zeta Division crept in with complete control. Isolating the left side, isolating the right. There was nowhere for them to move. A big-time Lana play is what made the difference in both sets. One hypercharged Tara pool changed everything. 291 DPS, and I know he wasn't leading the kill category. I know it wasn't a perfect...
Gus Super is going to allow the Buster probably to close the gap in a big way, but I don't think the Zeta Division were ready for that Tara. That really throws a spanner in the works. Their plan of using their tanky brawler to come forward. Lana says, I will fight you head to head. I will throw this super down, and I will take you down.
The surprise attack factor, especially on a map like that where it's two very narrow, skinny lanes that are covered in grass. If you get one launch of that pool, changes everything. He's the X factor. They play around this guy, and that's exactly what they did in the set number 4. When your season is on the line, when there's no more room for error, you count on your star player.
It's crazy to think that this is the same SK Gaming we saw come out in that first set and look pretty lifeless. Now, though, they are brimming with vitality. Now, we have a decider set. Couldn't ask for a better game here as we head for shooting.
Is certainly in the equation here. Byron Bell, fun fact, second most picked brawler yesterday. Obviously a lot of knockout and a lot of bounty in that mix. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw her here today. 10 plays, 60% win rate. At a professional level, you'll take that all day.
I mean, the nest egg is just too good, Kenny. So important to catch out enemy brawlers and give yourself at least 2 stars upon that elimination. Very, very hotly contested. Angelo, going to be taken away first here for SK Gaming. A great pick to start the draft with.
He escapes the ban stage, and he was the 3rd most banned yesterday. I'm curious if this was very intentional. I'm seeing 2 throwers there, so Zeta Division definitely have something in mind, right? You don't throw out a Sprout and a Tick, 2 pretty overall on meta brawlers. They're occasionally picked here, but I think it's because they want to make a certain brawler shine.
Laurie?
And I'm curious who that is. Yeah, maybe they want that leftover thrower, or maybe they just want a better matchup for themselves. They know something deep down. This had to be very intentional, though.
Yeah, it might have to be here, lest SK Gaming sniff out their strategy and take it for themselves.
I think Piper a very safe first selection for their side on this 2-3 turn. You gotta get it right. All you have left at the end is just response to what SK Gaming do. So they want to start with a solid foundation. They have that long range. They have a dynamic playmaker. They have a great gadget selection, a brawler with a hyper charge. I like what they're doing here. And they're pairing it with Jean, who is traditionally a great Piper counter. They've got the Magic Puffs ability, the evil spirits they can send out. That chip damage normally really affects the other side. So I think pairing these two makes a lot of sense practically.
We've seen Jean be pretty terrifying. We've seen Rival also go for a Jean Grey composition that used like a Grey walking cane into a Jean magic hand to secure a kill. That was one of the most exciting plays of yesterday. But Jean alone, who's been banned a lot through the course of this series, especially on those knockout maps, is
with the Gus. Now they've got the bubble. They can apply that to somebody at one Carl and make sure that he stays nice and healthy. A tailspin on top of that. And a good thing for them too, especially for this game, but especially on this map, one flying hook guarantees a blue star every time. And that is something so crucial at a professional level.
And SK's comp here, despite Carl being present, does want to be defensive. They do need to look out for the Jean poke damage and the inevitable magic hand development. They're going to have to find a way to mitigate that. Maybe they hope the Carl gets hooked. He can obviously get a bubble from that Gus and go in and be terrifyingly strong and have a lot of extra health. And so we go for the Pearl here. It's a safe pick. It's not the most exciting, but again, in these longer rounds, Pearl is an absolute menace.
A lot of poke damage and a very pesky brawler. This is going to be a very annoying composition to deal with if you're SK Gaming. They can constantly put pressure on you. One set to decide it all.
Vengeful Spirits here. The gadget to pick up for the Jean. There's no potential really for all in outside of the Carl, and clearly Zeta aren't worried about it. Lamp blowout though wouldn't have been shocking either. Gero poked down early, and of course that blue star already going over to SK Gaming.
Lana still in the mid, hovering around this wall, just trying to be annoying, a nuisance into Zeta Division. Yoshi has the shield already ready too. He's got a Cookie Popper available. Navi's gonna now have to watch for that.
Joker here pops super down. Can play that line a little more aggressively, but still has to respect Gero's damage. Now we'll look to step forward. It's up to Zeta Division to figure this out. They need to get Meow's super online, put Novi in a position where he can fully commit. Gero flashing a homemade recipe, Lenar able to outrange it.
It's a lot of action.
Big damage!
No kills, and the first one pops. Super from Gero, but the pull goes through. Response from Zeta Division.
They get the blue star, but they're still behind by one Kenny. Every magic hand has to connect here for Zeta Division. Lenar's the most durable brawler on SK Gaming and will still instantly get blown up if he gets hooked in. It's a little bit dangerous for Lenar there. Novi coming up on that right side, telegraphing a potential all-in here.
Now they're backed up against their walls. The Evil Spirit, it does connect to Lenar. Zeta Division now with the lead. Hypercharge popped as well, so they can have a quicker escape route. And now it's going to come down to SK Gaming. They have to get aggressive.
And they have to go in with a Carl, but that's a problem. If Novi builds a super, you cannot dive a Pearl when she has that super available. You will be blown up instantly. 10 seconds left and SK Gaming trying to find a little bit of poke damage. Yoshi comes forward, super ready. Lenar has to go in, hooked in, dive. There's going to be a jump from Meow. Still, SK Gaming come out on top.
Have here in Brawl Stars, these fellas putting everything on the line. What looked bleak for a moment is now SK Gaming on match points.
It doesn't get much closer than that, Kenny. SK Gaming have to breathe a sigh of relief for having got away with that in the first place. The gene is a problem. It's very scary to deal with Meow. Here's the Vengeful Spirits again. Good poke. Homemade recipe almost claims the blue star.
SK once again backed up to their spawn side. Still the star advantage. They're playing this defensively. They don't have to overdo it. Normally a really aggressive comp, but they're going to be passive aggressive on this one. They're going to look for a mistake from Zeta Division and then strike.
They know they're going to be defensive because of their ability to get that early blue star. But they're giving up a lot of map control. Lenar just steps out in the open. That's a blue star handed over to Zeta.
Zeta Division now with a narrow lead. 1 star, the difference maker.
ก็มาเข้าเครื่องนี้
ที่เวที
ใช่เพราะว่าการตอนนี้มันไม่ได้ตามการ
อะไร
นะครับที่มอง
การเพราะว่าอย่างที่เรา
อันนี้เป็นงานของโปรโมท
คิดว่า
ของเทสเลยผมก็เลยเอาเลนจากขับของที่
ได้เธอรู้ได้ไงที่
เข้า
เขา
ตรงนี้ด้วย
ด้านหลัง
ไอ้นี่ที่เวทีที่ก็วิ่งมันม้วนไปนี่มันเป็นแค่คอนเซ็ปต์แต่แก
ที่ต้องถอดการข้าม
ไม่ใช่แบบนี้แต่แกแคป
ใช่ใช่ใช่เปลี่ยนเป็นพอย
สร้างก่อนคิดอ่ะ
เพราะว่าตอนนี้เรามันอาการมันไม่ได้ตามการ
ว่าภาพนี้มันไม่ดี
เล
เลย ย
อย่างนี้ที่มันเปลี่ยน
เข้าใจเชิญคือเขียนฟีเวนทีของขอตัวไม่ตีเล่นมันจะเป็นมันไม่ใช่ว่าหัดปล่อยนิ่งนี่มันเป็นแค่คอนเซ็ปต์
เพราะว่าด้านหลังมันก็จะแต่มันจะเป็น
เพราะตัวนี้เป็นตัวฟีเจอร์มันจะเป็นตัวที่จะเอ็กแท็ก
ตัวหมดวันกันแล้ว
ได้
แต่ตอนนี้หาย
ใครเล่นอะไร
ที่ได้ตึงอีกแล้ว
นี่ก็เป็น
ถ้าออก
พอดีปึ๊บแต่ไม่ต้องวิ่งมันก็ต้องได้เล่น
เจนเยอะมาก
ส่วนใหญ่พี่กองนั้นที่
นี่ดูว่าอีกเล่น
มันเส้นอย่างเหมือนกัน
นี่ก็สองเล่น
เล่น
เล่นคอนเซ็ปต์
ผมนะ
แต่คุณต่อแล้วถูกไหม
ผมต่อเลยนี่ลองชัก
ไปไม่ปิดสวิตช์หอยนี่มาเป็นของจีน
ผม
ถ้าขายเองที่เป็น
เอาอย่าสวิตช์พี่นะแล้วมันชนกันได้ไง
ปูกว่าซื้อนี่
คุณเช็คหน่อยชนกันได้ไง
หมึกปู
จีน
ปูก็หายาก
มันไม่หนาชนเลย
เ